A Course in Miracles, Lesson 289. The past is over. It can touch me not. Unless the past is over in my mind, the real world must escape my sight. For I am really looking nowhere, seeing but what is not there. How can I then perceive the world forgiveness offers? This the past was made to hide, for this the world that can be looked on only now. It has no past. For what can be forgiven but the past, and if it is forgiven, it is gone. Father, let me not look upon a past that is not there. For you have offered me your own replacement. In a present world, the past is left untouched and free of sin. Here is the end of guilt. And here am I made ready for your final step. Shall I demand that you wait longer for your son to find the loveliness you planned to be the end of all his dreams and all his pain? Lesson 289. The past is over. It can touch me not. Touch means contact, to come into or be in contact with something, to handle in order to manipulate, alter, or otherwise affect. If the past cannot touch, it cannot contact, manipulate, alter, or affect what is real. Spirit cannot be touched by what never happened. Picture a chair that does not even touch the floor. It appears to hover, freed from the gravity of memory. That is the mind when belief withdraws from the past. No contact, no leverage, no manipulation. Add a touch of vinegar means a trace can change the flavor, yet the past cannot add even a trace to God's creation. Not a touch, not a smudge, not a film upon the light. Over means ended, finished, completed, recovered from. I'm over it means it no longer claims attention, investment, or reaction. When the mind is over the past, the reel stops and the projector room goes quiet. Only a clean screen remains, available to the light of now. Unless the past is over in my mind, the real world must escape my sight. Vision and memory cannot occupy the same instant, because memory is a substitute for seeing. Looking back is looking nowhere, for what I think I see is not there. Ghosts do not become real because they are familiar. How can I then perceive the world forgiveness offers? Forgiveness is the refusal to keep touching the past for evidence. It is the decision to withdraw contact, to end manipulation, to cease altering the present with yesterday's meanings. This the past was made to hide, the quiet luminosity of a world that can be looked on only now. The ego made time to keep the present out of awareness. The past covers the now like dust on a mirror, and forgiveness is the simple wipe that reveals what was always underneath. It has no past, for what can be forgiven but the past, and if it is forgiven, it is gone. Gone means finished, with no remainder term in the mind's equation. Gone means there is nothing left to touch, argue with, or rearrange. Gone is the accuser and its file of private verdicts. Father, let me not look upon a past that is not there. Let me not resurrect images merely to keep touching them for pain. You have offered me your own replacement, which is the eternal present. Here the surface is untouched and free of sin, because sin requires a past event. Here is the end of guilt, because guilt depends on a happening held as real and continuing. When the cause is withdrawn, the effect cannot stand. If nothing happened to truth, then nothing needs punishment or defense. Here I am made ready for your final step. The final step is not effort but acceptance, where God takes over what the mind can no longer counterfeit. It is the lift from perception to knowledge when resistance has dropped its last disguise. No pushing, no climbing, only yielding to what already is. Shall I demand that you wait longer for your son to find the loveliness you planned at the end of all dreams? That loveliness is the changeless innocence of the sun, unmodified by time. It is the unbroken wholeness that never knew a touch of fear. It is the radiance beneath every mask, the melody before the first note and after the last. Why is this the end of guilt? Because guilt is the belief that a real past injured a real self, yet the self God created remains untouched. Untouched means unaltered, and unaltered means invulnerable. Invulnerable means there is nothing to forgive in truth, only misperception to release. What did the past make to hide? It made a moving picture to hide the stillness of being. It made roles to hide relationship and narratives to hide knowledge. It made a world of surfaces to hide the single light beneath them. What is the real world that can be looked on only now? It is the reflection of heaven that dawns when condemnation ends. It is perception corrected, the garden seen without the serpent of judgment. It is everything as it is, because nothing is being touched by yesterday. So the practice is simple and total. Withdraw the hand that keeps touching the past for proof. Let the chair of identity stop touching the floor of history. Let the projector cool and notice the screen already shining. The past is over. It can touch me not. Touch requires two, and there are not two. Only the one remains, immaculate, present and free.